Hey everybody, Sean here with DTF Tech Talk. I'm the owner of Hometown Hype Custom Apparel in Franklin, Pennsylvania. So I wanted to just talk to you guys for a second about white under black underbase. So I was recently having a ton of problems with my white under black setting in Digital Factory 11, where essentially regardless of what I did inside of Digital Factory, and regardless of how low my white under black settings were, I'd get either a full 100% reduction in white or no reduction on white underneath black. And if you guys aren't aware, if you have thick white behind your black ink, it can cause problems, not just like with running. So like what would happen was it seems like the white ink doesn't like quite stick the same behind black, right? Somehow like it's more runny behind black, right? And what can happen is if it's too thick, number one, you don't need it, right? And it just wastes ink because your black ink does not need that a ton of white underbase to show through. In fact, it really needs none. What the white ink does is it gives the adhesive something to stick to. So you want to reduce the white ink that's behind your black. Now, through just straight trial and error, right? Just clicking every checkbox in Digital Factory to try and figure out what the heck is going on, I found what seems to be a software bug. Maybe there's some intentionality behind it, and as to why this doesn't work, but I could not find, whoops, I tried to bring in a black print for us, but I could not find any information about this. Like I said, I had to do this through straight up willpower, just trying everything I could to figure out why this wasn't working. So if you go into your Digital Factory and you go into your Q properties here, okay? Give it a second to come up, and then you go to your color layer and then under your processing options. So I use this underbase plus highlight option for my rips, and what the underbase plus highlight option does is it allows you not only to control your underbase behind colors, right, but it also lets you set a maximum white ink percentage. Now what this is it allows you, so when your design is calling for white, right? So like when you have hex code FFF inside your design, right? It doesn't restrict the amount of white ink to the maximum white ink percentage, right? The highlight white ink strength will go off this percentage. So like when the design has white inside of it, it's gonna be 85%. When the design is just laying an underbase behind colors, it'll be 70%, right? That's what that means if you weren't sure, okay? This underbase strength, white under black, this is the setting for how much white ink there's gonna be behind specifically black or colors approaching black, okay? And then there's a different way to set what's defined as black. And it's not just it's like on a scale, right? So like a really dark navy, it's going to get less underbase than, like a bright yellow or something, okay? So I actually need to change this. I want to set this, I'm either in 22 or 23. I'm going to set it to 23, that's fine. But, okay, I had this checkbox checked, okay? Treat all semi-transparent as opaque. Now, I tried everything, right? I was in all these crazy CMYK settings, trying to adjust things and adjusting my black curve. None of that did anything. The only thing that worked is when I unchecked this treat all semi-transparent as opaque. Once I unchecked that, everything worked exactly as expected, okay? So I don't know if that is intentional within the software, like there's a reason why the white behind black wouldn't work if that's checked, or if it's just a bug, right, where that functionality doesn't work properly if that's checked. But make sure if you're having those problems, you have that checkbox unchecked, because I mean, I at least spent 4 hours just changing this setting, seeing if it worked, changing this setting, seeing if it made any change, checking this setting, see if it made any change. Okay, changing it back, right? So it was a lot of work, but I finally found it. So hopefully this clues somebody in as to why their white behind black is not working properly. And prevents them from having to go through all the trial and error that I just had to do. And maybe it's just a me thing. Maybe if I had uninstalled and reinstalled my software, although I did update it, I did update the software, and it seemed to uninstall it to reinstall the new version. So it's not like in my mind, I did that. But anyway, I'm always scared uninstalling and reinstalling Digital Factory, that something's going to go wrong with the license, and that'd just be a nightmare, right? And anyway, if you guys have ever had to deal with like the licensing issues, so like my old computer actually like just completely crapped the bed with the old Digital Factory license still activated on it, so I couldn't even get on it to deactivate the license. And that was a huge headache, right? And it put me down just because it took a while to hear back from Fiery. You know, at least a day and a half, maybe 2 days, it put me down. I wasn't able to rip any files, which really sucked, right? So anyway, I just wanted to drop this, guys. Remember, if you're having those white under black and you're not getting any response from it, make sure you have this checkbox unchecked. It can't be checked. I'm not exactly sure what that does. I'm sure it has something to do with opaqueness and partial transparency, but we print all SVG files here, so we're really, I guess you can have semi-transparency inside SVG files, but it's not like a PNG where like you're gonna have semi-transparent pixels all over the place all the time. So very rarely are our print files gonna have any opaqueness within them. And if they do, we're gonna halftone them ahead of time because we know what we're doing. So anyway, hopefully this helps. Goodbye, guys. Have a great day.